Previously on Final Score. And we see a heavily modified Githrock 720 light freighter begin to land somewhere in the slums of Coruscant. You are meeting somebody who, for the sake of correspondence, refers to themselves as Pilgrim at a bar called the Red Moon Tavern.
My friends, it is time for another job.
As you approach, as if they know you're coming, they kind of look up in your direction.
For a drink, I am at least owed a name.
You can call me Pilgrim.
So tell me about this job.
I work with individuals scattered across the galaxy that help surviving Jedi.
Jedi are an expensive query.
We will make it worth your while. We communicate with each other and transport secret information to each other as through holocrons. One of them was stolen. We need you to use the cover of the Imperial Senate Gala happening at the museum tomorrow evening in order to steal this holocron back. Some of our contacts were able to disappear some of the Imperial payroll. He opens up the briefcase, and there are 500,000 credits.
We're getting paid in stolen Imperial gold.
What makes me comfortable in believing that you won't dispatch of a certain crew after they do your job?
You have my word as a Jedi.
I stick my hand out.
As he extends a hand, he quickly closes the briefcase and hides it. There is a stormtrooper security detail entering the club. You have to get me safely out of here.
I'm gonna go with the number 3 distractions. That work for you, Boyle?
You just check this dude, and as he hits the ground, everybody's running in different directions, and the other 4 stormtroopers have whipped around in your direction.
Let's move.
You book it out the back door, running down the back alleys.
The tipping over motion with my hand to launch a crushing box on that front stormtrooper.
On a distant rooftop is somebody dressed in all black with a very peculiar looking lightsaber who just saw what just happened.
Wait, so should I get my ship then?
Yeah. Deri, darling, take us up.
You fly to the outskirts of town as you begin to plan your final score. Shipyard and land next to clone gunships that have been taken apart. You see that Pilgrim turns around, he takes off his hood. You can see that one side of his face is completely wrapped in bandages, and he is under his cloak wearing what look like Jedi robes. He looks at all of you and he says, "Thank you for getting me out of such a precarious situation. I trust that with as adept as you were in doing so, that this job will be light work for you."
Oh, it'll be work.
Well,
it'll definitely be work. Can't say it'll be light, though.
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not paying you for nothing. But I have the utmost faith and confidence. This time.
Yes, we're all getting off the ship.
Well, I will wait here for you and expect your return.
All right. We need to get some fancy clothes. Well, I have fancy clothes because I am a fancy person. But the rest of you.
Are you going to do the fancy half cape, half kilt number again? No
kilt this time. You know the squares on Coruscant. They have no sense of culture.
Well, but it was so you were still wearing pants, but it was the half kilt, so it was almost like a cape, but for the one leg.
Yeah, they don't have that kind of culture. They like fancy and glittery, and yeah, they have no sense of culture.
Right. So which part of the ship am I staying on while you going on about this?
Oh no, everyone, all hands on deck.
Great.
So, we are going to jump right into the planning part of this adventure. In a lot of TTRPGs, there will be this period where you spend an hour sitting around the table, kind of trying to imagine all of the things that you might get into and planning for every single obstacle. This game is kind of built to completely forgo that whole thing and get you right into the action using very simple mechanics. And then basically, the characters make the plan, the players don't make that plan. Instead, the players, as we play, decide what that plan was. And so you'll see a little bit more about how that works as we get into it. But the first step in what we are going to do here today is decide what kind of approach we are going to take for this job. So we already kind of know what the end goal is and what we're trying to achieve. Basically, it is up to the players to decide how we want to go about achieving that. We have 6 different methods that we can use. The first one is assault, to just straight up do violence. We can do deception, which would be to lure, trick, or manipulate. We could do infiltration, which would be to trespass unseen. We could do mystic, which would be to use the force in some way. We could do social, which is to negotiate, bargain, or persuade. Or we could do transport, which would be to carry cargo or people through danger. Decide a kind of, you don't have to plan every single step, but generally what you think your approach is going to be, and we will figure out which one of those 6 categories it most closely falls into.
Okay,
Just to clarify,
hear me out.
I'm assuming that we can't go with the giant pile of bodies approach.
But what if we did deception and infiltration?
That is an
So
option.
not the giant pile of bodies approach.
I mean, given how our jobs end up, it could always end up with the giant pile of body. At least when you and I are involved.
I did not set fire to the bar this time.
Not this time. That was me that one time. You know what I'm
Did you
talking
run out of time?
about. Well, you know, it's not every situation calls for fire. A lot of them do, but not every situation.
I shut down one of the chandeliers. There's still 2/3 of the standard Jack moment.
At least you weren't swinging from the chandelier this time.
I was too high up, I couldn't reach it.
Nah.
So you could absolutely pick 2 of those and have like an A team and a B team, one doing the deception in the party and one doing the infiltration down below, if that is a route you wanted to take. So for deception, you would need to provide what the method of deception is going to be. And for infiltration, you would have to provide what the point of infiltration is. Now, in order to find these details, you can make a gather information roll. And the way that will work is just like any other roll, you will tell me what action you are using to gather information.
With a hammer, right? You gather information with a hammer or a screwdriver.
That is certainly one option. It is like just like any other role where you tell me what action you are using for that approach. So if you wanted to try and shake somebody down for information, you could use command. If you wanted to use one of your contacts in the criminal underworld, you could use sway. If you wanted to maybe like research maps and things like that, you could use study. Basically, any of those skills that you have, you can explain to me how you're using that action to gather information, and we can move forward with that role.
I mean, I can use sway to smooth talk my way into getting information about the gala and the building it is in.
Absolutely. I'm sure that you have some connections in the Coruscant criminal underworld. So you can go ahead and how many dots do you have in sway?
2.
Cool. So you can go ahead and roll 2 dice and tell me what the highest result is.
Got a 6 and a 5.
Hell yeah. So are you looking for information on the deception detail or the infiltration detail?
Yes.
I'll give you one for the one success.
So I'm thinking we go the infiltration route, right? So, because ultimately we need to get the 3 of you into the gala like somewhat respectably, so that we don't have to kill the security guards just to get through the door, right? And then that gives us an excuse to get Deri a nice dress, and Duo, even use wants to get like the robe thing, what makes it sort of androgynous, and that's an option. Or if you'd rather do like the dress
Why
thing,
can't I have
or
the dress?
we could get 2 dresses is the other part. I
Oh
was
my
getting
god,
at.
we could match.
So, in
You get
talking,
matching dresses.
This is the conversation that's happening on the ship while Dio has gone off to try and talk to some people about the actual job. So you brush shoulders with somebody that you did a job back on Dayu with, and they happen to know that about 7 levels below where the actual museum is, there is a docking port, and there's a lot of traffic in and out of that, unrelated to the party that's going on above. But somebody who is in there at the right time might be able to use the ventilation shaft to move up to the levels above the docking port and below the party to where the vault is. But they also let you know that they've heard whispers that you might not be the only crew there that is looking to take advantage of this opportunity.
Oh, no.
Small pile of bodies, that's exciting.
Competition, eh?
I mean, it isn't competition. I mean,
It's just a minor obstacle.
You know
Hey.
what? Someone else hired someone else hired someone to do the exact same job. And I took that personally.
so now we just need to find out who that was that did the hire and have them hire us, and then we can, extract some more funds out of them.
Well, they're
We'll
not
find out
necessarily
what their
the other
target
crew,
is and how we can use it to our advantage.
right? Because they're not necessarily after the same thing you're after. They're just trying to get into the vault.
Well, I think part of the deception will be sussing out who these people are. And maybe working in, I forget how you actually did the category, but using some smooth talking to become the life of the party.
And
Hey, Deri?
just to clarify,
Who, me?
those are basically just the categories of your initial approach. That doesn't mean if you pick assault, you have to only be fighting the whole time, or if you pick or infiltration, you have to only be sneaky the whole time. That's basically just kind of what your point of entry is and what your, kind of general approach is.
Don't have to be sneaky if people think you belong.
There you go. So you have your point of infiltration. There, if you wanted to get like a little bit more about the method of deception, somebody else could make another gather information roll of a different kind.
I'd bet you every bit of rum in my personal quarters that there's a Corellian who's working all the shuttle back and forth of all the tops that come to this museum.
Right.
I'll go and I'll see if I can talk to someone about home.
So you walk in and you can see that there's a lot of people loading and unloading crates and boxes off of shuttles and ships. And you do see that there are several humans that are working amongst the other alien species that are working there.
Oh, this is so bad.
What did you roll?
No. I haven't rolled anything. I was just trying to remember what my skills were, and then I went, oh yeah, I'm the medic.
Yeah, not much for resolve for you.
No, indeed.
Unless-
It's straight zeros.
Unless you want to take advantage of scrap and maybe get into a fight pit or something. Try
Oh
and
yeah,
win-
scrap doesn't
try
mean
and win some
scrap
information.
doesn't mean fixing things. It means fighting people. Oh, there we go. I mean, we don't like talking about this because of the reputation of our peoples. I think I might have mentioned last time. Corellians have something of a reputation galactically for being drunkards and brawlers, and so then when you're not working and you're going about your day and you're carrying this weight of that expectation from people, and then there's just putting it in your face all the time. Then when you get off work, then you want to go and have a drink at the illegal fight pit and wager a bit and maybe punch some bloke in the face. And so I'm going to find out where that is, because if there's Corellians, then there'll probably be one of them. Probably. Somewhere.
I understood enough of that to say, go ahead and give me a scrap roll.
Right then. All right, everyone, blow for lock.
Woo!
I realized that only one of them's count, but I mean, I'm not going to do that again for the rest of the game. Double sixes.
Execute
Hey,
66.
Yeah. Oh,
box
amazing.
cars, as it were.
So you get in there. So you find like, yeah, there is like a fight pit, and we just like hard cut to Kincaid in like a Sherlock Holmes style pit, just like beat somebody. And you initially get offered credits, and I imagine in your kind of Carillion speak, you ask for a different form of payment.
No, we can have both.
Oh, you did get
I'm
your
going to take my
successes.
money. I'm going to take my money, and then I'm going to spend it on beverages, so that we can all sit around, have a pint, possibly two, or a third. Because like one gets lonely, and so you have to have a second one. And then at that point, it's not a party yet. It's too intimate, and so you need a third in order to truly make it interesting. And then after that, evenings tend to get away from you a little bit. And then the barmen usually they need to use the glasses for other people or whatever, so you can't line them up like soldiers and know how many you conquered that evening, and it gets confusing. But anyways, but yeah, at that point, once everyone is right and truly soused, then I feel I can probably get a whole lot of information that they might have given me without being drunk.
I need like a Sam Reich on make some noise buzzer button. I will cut you off there. But yeah, so after about 3 drinks and everybody's a little bit sauced, and you
That's infectious, isn't it?
yeah, it sure is. You start to get some loose lips talking to you about
Excellent.
the fact that this fight pit is actually directly financed by an oligarch and banker named Davo Skolden. And he has his hands in a lot of like really nefarious things underneath the facade of being like this socialite and banker in the upper levels of Coruscant, which is some information that would probably not bode well for people to find out about him. But also he is directly bankrolling the Senate Gala. So do with that information what you will.
Well done, friend. I'm going to explain that to all of my compatriots before we go dress shopping.
So, what'd you learn?
Right, so the bloke who was writing all the checks for this big event, the fancy thing, that we're going to go in and steal the other fancy thing, that bloke is paying for an illegal fighting ring and gambling circle. Also, this is the amount of credits that are left, and it's like 35 cents.
Well, that is
So that's
good.
for the communal resources.
All we got is this amount of credits to get.
Well, you
2
got
dresses.
half of what Pilgrim is paying you up front. So you're
I thought
pretty.
he spent all that. That's what I
Oh,
thought
no,
he
no.
was saying.
Are you suggesting I was losing at fighting?
That's why I was like, why don't you have more than this?
No, you
Well, I
didn't
mean, I had to.
You didn't let the drinking, brawling medic walk off with 250,000 credits. That's not what happened.
I know him better than that. That's what I'm saying.
Go
All right,
out
what
with 50, come back with more than that, except, minus expenses.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have to take Deri and Duo dress shopping. Deri's
Hey.
going to need a chaperone.
What are you talking about? I'll be fine.
No. You either get a chaperone or you get an allowance.
I can chaperone.
Oh, y'all
I
are
trust
getting
them both.
Y'all are getting matching dresses, so don't let her get you into a pink dress if you don't want to.
It doesn't have to be pink. It can be another
Duo had
color.
requested pink, I feel like, when I... Oh, no, it was black this time. Was it pink the time before?
I think it was
Maybe it's time
surprise
for that.
me was the answer that you got from him.
Aye.
All right,
There
so
are other colors than those too.
There are
I'm
many.
gonna give them the a certain amount of credits. I'm giving it to Duo. You're like, you're the responsible one.
Yes.
And you
They
were
are the
worried
more
about me making
responsible.
bad choices with our money. Yeah, God.
You just said you trusted both of them.
I have
Hey.
already grabbed Deri by the wrist, and like we are.
Let's go.
It's
Before
fine.
he takes it back.
This is why
I'm like skipping.
This is why I didn't give them all the money.
Well, I mean, they might need like a matching necklace and something.
They have enough
Like,
for that if they
As
have.
we're out, I'm just like tossing the credits over to Deri. I have no idea what I'm doing. Does he forget that I was raised in a temple? I have never seen money until we started stealing it from people.
All right. Well, it's been a while since I've been on Coruscant, but I know that if we go over to this street, insert street name here, they've got all the best stuff.
I heard that's better than a Stick Avenue.
You're criffin' right. I was trying to think of a Star Wars curse
You've
word.
just been like, you're darn.
You're pretty
You're
much.
dank Farrakhan.
You're dank Farrakhan. Anyway, we're gonna go to a shop.
You walk into a shop and there is a Celestian woman with like a high top knot who turns around and sees you and says, "Welcome to the Pink Orchid. How can I help you today?"
Well, we have a very important gala to go to, and it
Ooh,
is very important that we look our best.
of course, you came to the right place.
So I was thinking pink. If you got anything there.
It's a very broad category.
So like, okay, pink, a little low cut, but not too low cut because I'm still a lady.
Right, of course. Have to be classy.
And it's got to be long because it's a gala, you
Right.
know. Fits
Duo,
the
make sure she gets one with a really long leg slit.
Are you just in the comms? Like, no, amazing.
I'm just
and
looking
I-
over a table, hollow table, like rolling my eyes.
Amazing.
I'd like a heel on my shoe, but not too tall because, you know, if I have a drink or two, we don't want any embarrassment. And I need a matching necklace and some earrings. And I'd love like a couple little jewels for the Leku, please.
I believe that can be arranged. And
She should get a fascinator too. Tell her to get a fascinator.
What's fascinator? Like whisper into the call. What?
I don't know what one to fascinate what. You want me to fascinate her?
Fascinator is it's like a fancy little hat.
It's like a hat, but it's too small to actually be a hat. So you just clips
I
it in
thought
place.
you were trying to get me to compel her mind. That would have been terrible.
she comes back with a dress that she puts in front of you. And it is kind of like a medium cut, comes down to about your knees, and it has like a geometric pattern running down each side that kind of has like an iridescence to it as you move it. And she puts some high heels next to them that have like, they're black, but they actually have like a pinkish glow on the side of them. And then she also puts some adornments for your head tails on top of the dress and says, "I believe that this will suit your fancy."
It's perfect. I love it. I'll take it.
And looks over at Duo and says, "For you?"
I would like something with a veil.
"Noted." And walks away. And comes back with something that is like kind of a black, it's kind of like a robe, but it does have sleeves to it, kind of like tight fitting sleeves. And then there is like kind of a translucent blackish veil over it that has kind of like sequin adornments.
We
on
are
it.
going to a gala, not a funeral.
I thought
Something
the dresses
brighter.
were supposed to match.
Of course, I was looking at your current. We can fix it. Runs back and comes back with something a little bit brighter, but a little bit similar, kind of a light blue, and it has like a mandarin collar with it.
Something that can hide the respirator mask and everything.
Yes, so it does have the
Okay.
veil with it. You look at this robe in front of you, and for a split second, you kind of have like a flashback to the blue robes that were worn by your companions in the Guardians of the Wills back on Jeddah. And you reflect on that life that you left behind you for a moment. What are you feeling in this moment?
Literally just forgot the name of every emotion that has ever existed.
I was like,
by the
I
way.
hit you out of left
Yeah.
field with a deep
Yep.
thing. It's all good.
God, it's like, well, you're my fucking therapist.
How are you feeling today? I don't know. I knew until you asked me that.
It's like, hey, while we're dress shopping, why don't you like revisit your trauma for me real quick?
Yeah.
What are
can
feelings? Those go
happen.
in the feeling box that goes
Honestly.
in the basement underneath.
That can happen with dress shopping.
It can. It really can. No, looking at the blue or the outfit, thinking of the robes that were once a somewhat resplendent blue that have become faded, patched, no longer resembling what they were to anyone other than somebody who knows what they're looking at to begin with. There is ire. There is what would be anger if it had enough passion in it to still be anger, but it is something far cooler, something that has a chance or has had a chance to die down and burn away into a acceptance of what the galaxy is, even though it's not happy about it. It's only when those thoughts go towards other imperial institutions that there is a kindling of something a little bit more impassioned.
You kind of are having all of these feelings and reflecting all of these memories and almost just like sucked back into the moment. Will that be all for you today?
yes.
I'm gonna notice that they're kind of like staring, and I'm gonna be
You
like,
didn't get a fascinator. Tell him you need a fascinator.
that'll be everything.
Oh, and every purchase today comes with a free fascinator.
I'm gonna be like, oh, that's what that is.
Kincaid saw
it
the
was
flyer.
a little hat.
Amazing.
Did you both get leg slits, or
The leg slits are tactical. They come into play
Yeah.
when they need to.
Mine are breakaway. They're Velcro actually, so I can just like have the tactical leg slit as needed.
Amazing.
Well, if that is the case, I think that gets us to where we need to be. The next step in planning is your loadout. So you can either choose to have a light, medium, or heavy loadout. You do not pick specifically what gear that you're taking with you at the beginning of the job, because basically when you need something, you have it. And that is the idea that your character planned for it. So with a light loadout, you have less stuff, but you are also less noticeable. And of course, with a heavy loadout, you have more slots, but people will know that you're up to something just by looking at you. So you can all decide between light, medium, and heavy how much gear you want to take on this job.
I'm going light. I don't need a lot. The Force is my ally.
I'm gonna go medium.
Cool. And you can check, you'll see light, normal, and heavy in like the middle right of your character sheet, and you can check off the box that you're taking with you.
normal it is? I want Alia to remember that I didn't give you permission to die today.
I'm gonna go with light. I feel like she would have one of those like leg straps that has like a dagger or like a knife. And then also I want like a little tiny whistle that will whistle for my cats
Hell yeah.
if I need.
You will have both of those things if you need them. And if you don't need them, you'll have something else in their place.
Oh, I gotta describe Deonis's outfit.
What's yeah?
I struggle to imagine a world in which Deri doesn't have a Derringer.
Well, maybe it's the Star Wars world where Derringers don't exist, or maybe it's like
Hold up, blaster.
It would be like a holdout, and it probably would just look like a Derringer since most of the Star Wars props were just World War II guns with a bunch of shit.
Stuff stuck on
Yeah.
it.
What does Deonis's outfit look like?
So it starts off with a light blue tunic, the deep V-neck into it. You know, rocking a gold chain.
Did you tweeze your chest hair again? I thought you was gonna stop doing that.
You know, sometimes you gotta keep it clean. Gonna have a gold stole, you know, like a deep gold stole, gold pants and gold shoes with a kind of like bronze cape and a ring on each finger of my right hand.
Perfect. All right, your crew is going to start out with 2 gambits, which are essentially luck points, and anybody can spend those at any time, and there are ways that you can get those as we play.
I'm going to spend a gambit.
Do we normally start off with 2 or 1?
Normally start off with 2.
Then we start off with 3 because I have Serendipitous, and your crew starts with +1 gambit with the pool resets.
Hell yeah. Of course you would have that.
Of course.
Because you're going to use those luck points. I know you are.
Oh, yes, I
Yep.
All right. So now we can move
I
into...
apologize in advance for the scam that Jacques attempts to run simultaneously with our heist to make extra coin, but also cause us problems.
Aid.
I'm definitely not going to be involved in anything where we're stealing speeders from the check-in, right? Instead of parking them legally, we'll just be bringing them directly to where they's going to be like harvested for parts. It wasn't my fault. It seemed like a good idea at the time, and if I didn't participate, everybody would think I was a cop.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So for the engagement roll, the way this is going to work is this is a roll to basically determine in what position that you start the job in. So you are going to get 1 die for sheer luck. You are also going to get 2 more dice because each of you had successful gather information rolls that provided you with some information that gave you an advantage going into this job. We are going to subtract 1 die because there is another faction that is operating that might interfere with your plans. So in total, you are going to get 2 dice to roll for the engagement roll. So if somebody could roll 2 dice for me.
One of you two. You ain't rolled yet tonight.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
We believes in you, Deri. And so does Obi-Wan Kenobi.
What's an Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I got a 6 and a 1.
Hell yeah, we're going with that 6. So that means that you actually start this job from a controlled position. That means that everything is going according to plan at the start of the job. And you can start...
That's boring.
Well, that'll change soon enough. Don't worry. We have plenty of opportunities to throw wrenches in the works. That just
I
means
get a
that
bad feeling about this.
Yeah, you start calm, cool, and collected. So, we are just gonna go ahead and throw it to Deonis. What is your approach? Where are you starting?
Well, are we able to identify the owner of this?
The event has been bankrolled by Davo Skolvin. If you are asking if you know what the guy looks like, it's not hard to bring him up on the HoloNet. Like he's made sure to have his face anywhere. If you're curious, it's the scumbag from Andor. So
I was gonna ask
Which one?
if it was that the
the one that was like, "Hey, I'll help you if you introduce your daughter to my son," or whatever.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Well, Deri, I'm so glad
The
you said
opposite
that.
of fuck that guy, in fact.
Right.
We're gonna
Wait,
bring Violet.
hold on.
Deri, my dear, can you go charm our wonderful host?
Are you
Deri, if he
asking
makes you,
to exploit myself for a man? Because I'll do it. Fine.
Deri, if he makes you uncomfortable, I'll break his toes one at a time for you. Just let
Oh,
me know.
perfect.
And I will go about mingling. Duo, take a sweep of the perimeter, see if there's anybody that sets off your senses.
So who's at the party and who's trying to get to the vault? Or are you all starting at the party and then working your way down to the vault?
I think Kincaid's
we're
working
all-
his way to the vault.
Okay.
Additionally,
I'm going to
there are
work my way
lots
to the
of
vault. but
very
doesn't start-
expensive speeders coming to this event.
So
Holocron
Duo-
first, speeder second.
So Duo, you said you're going top down, Kincaid's going bottom up, and Deonis and Deri are mingling.
Um,
I will absolutely prioritize the holocron over the speeders after I get back from delivering this one.
Well, I'm going to trust in the Force. I want to see if I can kind of just figure out who else doesn't belong there as much as we don't belong here.
One of these things is not like the other.
Wait, what year is this?
This is 5 BBY. So this is immediately after the events of Andor and immediately before the events of Rebels Season 1.
Okay, cool. Are there any other notable Star Wars characters here?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Is Mon Mothma here?
Who knows? It is
Stay on target.
It is a Senate galley.
I think that's what he's trying to do.
It is an Imperial Senate galley.
Holocron first.
And I'm sure that a what is the roll for that? A consort roll would probably get you information on this thing that you're suddenly interested in that's not at all related to the plot.
Oh, we're going for it. I got one in consort. Dragon dice don't fail me now. I got a 5.
And we're gonna start a plot called Mommy Mothma. But you know what? You do indeed find out that Mon Mothma is among the honored guests of the evening. But
You can't get angry at me for making a little, just a small amount of credits on the side with this job. If you're gonna try to find out if she's a good kisser, you can't be angry.
and that just means that you get to flirt with me, and that's fine. I'm a tender lover. So
Wait, there was an option to flirt. God damn.
there's always there is always an option to flirt with me. That is always
Okay.
on the table whenever you play. Don't
I
you
will
worry.
keep that in mind for when I'm not too goddamn awkward.
Look,
to act
I
on
have
that.
I have never played a PBTA game that hasn't ended with me in a queer love triangle. That's just a thing. So
Makes sense.
That tracks absolutely. Yeah. Derailed there. Shit, man. What was I gonna do with this gala? I don't know anymore.
okay, so no, this is perfect. Because you are in a controlled situation in which you made a standard roll and you got a 5. The intended result of that is you hesitate, withdraw, and try a different approach. So I think that what that looks like is that you are kind of like scanning the crowd and you're kind of like looking around. You were able to get into this party no problem. You look the part, and nobody is batting an eye at you looking like you're not supposed to be here. But you begin kind of scanning, and you've kind of just been mingling, shaking hands, and kissing babies. And then you like immediately see the most gorgeous woman that you have ever laid your eyes on, and immediately
What isn't
recognize it
Deri?
to be. You've immediately recognized it to
Exactly.
be Mon Mothma, and you get a little bit flustered, and you like almost are about to approach her, And once you finally like rack up the courage, like 2 or 3 other senators swoop in and begin speaking with her, and you immediately like do like the pivot and start walking in a different direction. And you have to kind of reevaluate your circumstance and also decide how important this is given the current climate of things.
You miss all the shots you don't take, little brother.
Yeah, I think Anakin Skywalker said that. So, Deri, what are you doing?
I'm, I guess, gonna scan for what's his face.
Yeah, so
I just wrote it down. Davos.
So you can
His first
Not
name is
to be confused
Davo,
with-
actually,
Davos.
which is
The
just
Onion Man.
terrible.
Because
Totally
we don't have
cool.
enough
Yeah.
D's.
Davo, skeevy. Davos, different universe, totally cool. Davo,
Right.
skeevy.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
For-
So, yeah.
Skolden, yes. So, go ahead and look at your actions in the bottom right, and tell me which one of those you think is most appropriate for the approach you're taking in trying to find this individual.
Probably Sway. I would say either Concert or Sway, but he's not really. Assume is a stranger to me. So I'm
Right.
gonna
So,
go
well,
with Sway.
so consort would work if you were like trying to ask around and be like, "Hey, where could I find Davo?"
Yeah. Okay. so we'll go
Sway
with
could be if you're
Sway.
trying to persuade somebody to take you to him or something. You have 0 in Sway, but you do have 1
Okay.
in Consort. So if you want to ask around,
Mm,
see if you can find where Davo is, yeah, you'll be starting with a 1.
we'll do that.
I want to walk you through a couple things. We didn't really establish this last time because I was trying to teach a little bit of the game at the time. But whenever you go for a roll, we have to establish position and effect because those kind of matter in the grand scheme of what is at risk and how and what the risk is and what the reward is essentially. So currently, because of your engagement roll, your position is controlled, which means you're acting on your own terms and you can exploit a dominant advantage. And currently, the effect is going to be standard. One of the options that you have with that is that you can do what's called trading position for effect. So if you want to kind of be a little bit more pushy with your action and take a little bit of a higher risk to get a bit of a higher reward, we can push that up from controlled standard to risky great. So you'll have more of a risk of higher consequences, but you will also have a more effective action. That is just an option that you have on the table at any time. You don't necessarily have to take it here.
Okay. My idea was to go to the bar and see if I can ask the bartender if he's seen said man, and I can persuade him
Cool.
them with credits.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty straightforward thing. So we can just stick with controlled standard on that. And you can make your consort roll. You're going to start with 1 die. You can get an additional die by either pushing for 2 stress or taking a devil's bargain. And you can also
I mean,
hear
she's
the
got to
devil's
flirt
bargain.
with this bloke. It's already a devil's bargain.
You can hear the devil's bargain and decide if you want to take it.
Yeah, I want to hear what that would be.
The devil's bargain is that this bartender is going to fall hopelessly and irrevocably in love with you.
Oh,
And
give me.
Yeah, and
Give me it. I'll do 2. I'll take the devil's bargain.
all right, so that means you'll get 2 dice to roll on that sway. Or sorry, the consort.
Ah, fuck. I got a 2 and a 3.
What do you want this guy to look like?
It isn't going to be that.
No, the problem is it is going to be that. You walk over and this bartender
Fuck.
is like, he turns around and is drop dead gorgeous.
Why was my first thought Kit Fisto?
That's what it is. I mean, game recognized game. He's got the tentacles going on too. And what is that species called again?
Nautilus. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Or Nautilus.
No. That's
Nautilus.
Baldur's Gate 3. It's Nautilin. Yeah.
Nautilus.
Yeah, so there is a Nautilin bartender who is wearing like a tight sleeveless shirt and is definitely like hitting the gym, has like big biceps, and he turns around and he's got like, it's funny, he's sleeveless, but it's like a high collar and like it's like an alien Chippendale almost. turns around and sees you and says, "How can I help you this evening?"
I'm gonna have the plan to go in and try to charm my way into getting him to tell me where Davo is, and then I'm just gonna, as soon as I see him, I'm gonna forget.
You immediately forget everything.
Yeah.
You maybe get out, "Have you seen Davo?" or whatever, and he says, "I could tell you where he is, but I think you would have a much better time over here with me." And that is where that situation lands you. Duo, what are you doing?
I'm going to try to figure out what the other crew is, or where the other crew is here. They've got to have somebody here, and I'm going to let the Force guide me.
All right, so that sounds like you're making an attune roll.
It is, and I'm absolutely taking a devil's bargain.
The devil's bargain is that when you open yourself up to the Force, you open yourself up to other people using the Force.
Outstanding. That sounds like a terrible idea that I'm on board with.
And we are going to start a clock. Actually, we're going to start 2 clocks. Well, the first clock is going to be the vault, because it does actually feel like you're starting to press towards the goal of getting down there. We are also going to start a clock. We're going to call this one Hunted. So there are several different types of clocks. The vault is a progress clock that is tracking your progress towards your goal. Hunted is a danger clock, which is a clock that I will tick through consequences happening to you guys towards a negative thing happening. So essentially there is somebody who is looking for you, who has been looking for you since yesterday evening when they first spotted you down in the slums of Coruscant. And that when that clock fills, that means they will have found you. So let's get spicy, why don't we?
Don't anybody do anything reckless.
So you have 1 additional die to your attune, which is bumping it up to 3 dice to roll.
And I got a 5.
Perfect. So you are in a controlled position currently. Which means that with a 5 instead of a 6, you are going to have limited effect on finding the vault. Basically, what is going to happen is you reach out with the Force and you are trying to connect to somebody else, and you read somebody's surface thoughts, and you connect that to a crew that is a couple levels below you, and you just can barely make out surface thoughts, and you hear what almost sounds like them talking into communicator that says, "Package is en route. Meet at requested time by the light of Lothal's moons." And then you hear that is completely interrupted by another voice that says, "Interesting. Let's dance."
No one ever says let's dance in a way that isn't nefarious. I think...
I always say have a dance.
How are you in my head? I did not say that into the communicator.
I'm not Gleebek,
Okay,
I forgot.
we have discussed.
I'm going to go.
Brooke is making a face like she's on Wikipedia right now.
Dio, you know how I get around redheads and how you get around everything with legs?
It's not everything.
Right, but so, that's where Deri's at right now, like right in that zone. So if you can go and rescue her from herself, that would probably be good.
She'll be fine for a moment.
You just look over and I'm just like, I don't even know what he said, and I'm just like,
There's little heart bubbles popping above her head like we're in an anime.
Amazing.
Deri, my dear, make sure you actually get some useful information out of him. Useful information.
Quick question, just to make sure that by the light of Lothal's that I heard that in my head while I was touching people's brains with magic powers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
well, you heard somebody was saying that to somebody else.
Yeah.
And then you were interrupted by somebody who was forcibly intruding on your thoughts.
Oh, like they projected that to me against my
Yeah,
will.
the interesting Let's Dance, that was directly addressed to you.
Oh, yeah, that changes.
That's whoever is hunting you.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that changes things. I would begin moving down at that point, but yeah, carry on.
For sure. I want to bounce it over to Kincaid and see what his method of approach is here.
All right, what can I do with rig? Like, what is that umbrella?
That is generally basically any kind of... So, like, hack is software, rig is hardware, right? So any kind of, like, welding or whatever, like, working with machinery is going to be rig. Also, like, using... No, sorry, that would be home. So, like, basically, yeah, working with machinery in any capacity is going to be rig.
Okay. It seems like there's some overlap between rig and skulk if it is overriding obstacles to get to a goal.
Skulk is more of skullduggery, so it's like picking pockets, doing subtle misdirection, sleight of hand, that kind of thing.
So like the housebreaking aspect of housebreaking, skulk does not cover, but that would fall under kind of rig.
Well, the big thing about this system is I'm not allowed to tell you what you're rolling. You tell me what you want to roll and why you're rolling it for a specific
I'm
situation.
gonna bullshit my way through this, like we know that, but I don't want to dishonor the intention of the word if there's something else that is that umbrella. So like skulk is the soft skill aspects of stealth and things like that, but like Basher from Ocean's 11 is rig.
Yeah, that tracks.
Right then. Okay, so good news second, everybody. Your cut's going to be about 2,000 credits. This keypad looks nice. And so I'm going to have a conversation with the keypad until it does what I want it to do. And if that requires dismantling every part of it in order for that to happen, that's what that means.
Fantastic. Yeah, so that definitely sounds like that falls under rig. You have two initially in that. You have a couple options. You can push for stress, you can take a devil's bargain, or you can spend a gambit to get an additional die.
What's my devil's bargain there, boyo? Wrong accent, wait a minute. What's my devil's bargain there, boy? There we are. That's what it said.
The devil's bargain is that you're probably going to have to use your chain code to get into it, and that is going to get you guys more heat on this job because you might be identified later by authorities.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Well, you can, like I said, you can also just push for stress if you don't like the devil's bargain.
We also have gambits.
You also have gambits, which are just free luck.
Right, but I have the feeling that so the thing is, I'm Jacques and Kate, and so everything is going to go according to my plan because that's what always happens. And if it doesn't, then we start blowing things up and then knocking people down. So here we go. I'm going to not push for stress yet.
Okay.
Blow. Oi. Oi. Blow.
I'm trying not to kill everybody with headphones and by blowing directly into this mic.
Hey, bastard. 4.
All right. Well, a 4 is a partial success, so that is going to give you limited effect on that. Yeah, you start trying to get into this thing, and you're there a little bit longer than you want to be because you do end up having to pull this whole console apart.
Who invents a blasted keypad what doesn't speak, droid? What kind of useless bastard engineered this fucking thing?
And then you hear like a gonk droid moving behind you and it like stops and is watching you for a minute.
I didn't ask you.
And then it keeps moving.
Deri, finding out if he's a good kisser is not useful information for the group of us. While it might be useful information for you, it does not fall under the category of useful information.
I'm just completely not listening.
Are you okay, darling? You seem distracted.
What?
Of course. This is the part of my job that gets difficult because it's my job to serve drinks, but if I continue to serve drinks, then what I want to do will become unethical.
Okay, that's fine.
Here he's saying he's trying to.
Can I just use the force to like tip a drink onto her to shock her out of this?
Please do. That's so funny.
That seems like that is pertinent to the this is amazing. Yeah, go ahead and give me an attune.
Now he's going to be able to use the "Let's get you out of these wet clothes" line. Ye gods.
Snake eyes.
Oh, so good. I'm so glad that happened. So you're wantonly using the force, which is making it a lot easier for the person who was trying to find you to track you down. Also, that has no effect. So that's 2 more ticks on the hunted clock. Deri, what are you just completely out of the game, or what are you trying to do here? You want to take another swing at trying to get some pertinent information?
Yeah, I'll like snap back into it, and then I'll try to be like, no, where's this guy?
This is going to be like that time she took a shower.
Like, wait a minute, I'm not gonna let a male, get the upper hand on me like this. Are you kidding?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I guess that would be another sway.
Could be
No,
Could
well,
be
I guess
sway or consort or command if you want to be a little bit more forceful with it.
Don't
do I
fall for the line about tongues being prehensile. All tongues technically are prehensile.
No, I'll do consort again,
All right.
but I'll just do one. Just see where.
Leave space for Jesus.
Oh, that was a 2. Not on my game, besties.
He's on his game, and that seems to be the prevailing issue here. Is that you continue to like try and talk, and you're just tumbling over your words, and he is just grinning at watching you speak, and says, "What are you doing after this?"
Oh, well, I had some plans, but they could maybe be changed.
I'm sure they could. We're all flexible here.
I'm just like take a sip of my drink.
Lord have mercy, this is why you stay in the ship.
You let her off the ship one time. She really is Kaylee. All right, Deonis, what are you doing?
I'm going to approach the senators, and there's music playing at this gala, right? And there's, people dancing, presumably.
Yep.
I'm going to ask Mom Mothma to dance.
All right. That sounds like a sway to me, unless you want to try and convince me for something else.
Why? Sway's my best one.
All right. Well, then play your strengths, my boy. So you start with 2. I'm gonna say that this is still controlled because this isn't a super high risk thing that you're doing. So it's gonna be controlled normal, unless you want to trade position for effect, which would make it riskier but improve the effect of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, let's do that, and I'm gonna add a gambit to it.
All right, so that means that you're rolling
The gambits are
3
not
dice.
for you to find out if she's a good kisser.
So
Let me cook.
It's not what you're for.
no, I'm smelling what he's stepping in. I see where he's going with this. So that bumps you up to 3. You can actually take a gambit as well as pushing for stress or taking a devil's bark. So if you want to get a 4th one, you can either push for stress or take a devil's bark.
Nah, I got 3 on it.
All right, 3. Go for it.
6, a 1, and a 4.
That 6
Six
is
is all that
gonna do
matters.
it, my boy. So what do you say? What's your opening line?
Oh, Senator Mothma, it is such a pleasure to meet someone of such high esteem as yourself.
Oh, I'm flattered. And you are?
The name is Deonis.
Well, Deonis, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, I am a broker, ma'am, and it is always wise to know people in powerful positions, especially those that fight for the little people in our galaxy.
I see.
Yes, I heard your speech in the Imperial Senate on the Gorman matter, and it really moved me. It was just such a shame that the Coruscanti news just was overtaken by the Aldani robbery.
You certainly have done your homework.
Oh, well, reading holoblogs aren't the only thing I'm good at reading.
She gives you a smile and stands up and says, I would be happy to continue this conversation over a drink, perhaps a dance.
Ah, yes, dance and drinks. Two things that can never go wrong.
So what will it be,
Corellia.
drink or dance?
We'll do dance first and go drink later.
Would you go have a drink so you can save Deri from herself?
Not yet.
This is nothing like what I anticipated happening, and I love it.
The opposite of Ocean's 11 with Benny Hill.
It's Ocean's 11 or Scooby-Doo. It's one of the two. So, let's bounce it back over to Duo. You've got two people in a dating sim, and one person who is dismantling a door. What are you doing?
I'm gonna go find a damn turbo lift and go downstairs towards the vault.
All right. And I imagine you probably want to do that in a way that you're not noticed.
At this point, I question if it even matters, really. So, Deonis, I assume there's a point to the flirtations you're doing,
Always.
much
The
like
points in his
yours,
pants.
Deri. And Kincaid, one can assume you have not been arrested yet for petty thievery, so if you
I'm
haven't,
just like
perhaps you
constantly
can
swearing in the comms
head
as I'm
towards the
working on these
vaults.
wires.
Are you still working on that pad?
It doesn't speak droid, for fuck's sake.
I'm going down to where he is at, actually. I assume
Still
it's
lightsabers
a
in the
security pad. It's like enter a code to unlock a thing.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a scramble roll to get over to where he is. I'm going to say it's going to be risky standard, because now it's starting to get to a point where you can tell that there's somebody on your tail and that the stakes are slowly rising.
Actually, before I head that, Kincaid, what is the purpose of the panel? What are you even trying to do at this point?
On the other side of this door is the passageway what brings me to the set of steps which will get me underneath the vault so I can cut a hole in it and they can steal our stuff and we can get the fuck out of here.
Why
There's a
did we
couple of
bother
people
with
in
the
between
gala?
what I have to murder, but that's...
Okay, change of plans. That sounds like the opposite. That sounds really far away from where I'm at right now. I'm going to try to just get downstairs to where that other, or closer to where that other crew is. Actually, that's all I want to do for now. So
I'll be right
scramble
behind you.
roll still.
Yes, so you've got 2 in scramble. You can either spend a gambit, well, you can spend a gambit if you want, but you can also push for stress or take a devil's bargain.
Nope, I just rolled 6.
They're like, I got it. Don't even sweat it. So yeah, you managed to, with that, that's actually going to take 2. And you managed to get yourself down to the lower levels of the vault. Of the lower levels of the building, nearby which is the vault. As you step out of the lift, you can hear what sounds like footsteps down the corridor around the corner from you. And you can hear what a normal person probably wouldn't be able to hear, but somebody with heightened senses due to their connection to the Force hears, which is the talking of a small strike team.
I'm just gonna go around the corner.
You got a 6. I'm just gonna let you have this. So you can see that there is a team and they're wearing all black. They have like light blaster rifles, and they're kind of like skulking down the hall and you catch a glimpse of a patch on one of their arms. It looks like they are also trying to access the vault. This seems to be the other team that you.
I want to just
heard about.
Turn the corner and. Which one of you is in charge?
They immediately all turn and point guns at you, but in seeing that you are not wearing any Imperial insignia or anything like that, they look at you vexed as they slowly lower their weapons. And one of them says, I am. What business do you have here?
You want to break into somewhere? I want to break into that same place. I'm hoping we want different things out of that place, and we can work together on this, because otherwise things are probably going to go sideways very shortly.
Ooh. It's a good line. I wish you had some good sway.
Oh, I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, so that sounds like it could.
Force suggestion.
That's not a bad idea. Do you want to say that you're using like a Jedi mind trick to get them to do what you want?
No, I definitely do not want to do that, actually.
Okay. In that case, it's going to be sway.
Yep.
Is my door open yet?
Yeah, you got your door open with that roll. It just took a really long time.
Clank, 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 clank.
I am going to take stress to get a bonus on that.
All right, so that gives you 1 die. Do you also want to spend a gamut to get a second die?
I can do both. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. All right, so you'll have 1 gambit left. Well, actually, no, because you rolled risky, so that gives you another gambit whenever you roll risky or succeed at risky. So that means you have 2 left after this one. So you have 2 dice to roll on this. What'd you get?
6.
Amazing. The one in front looks at your robes and kind of picks up on the fact that maybe you're a Jedi, maybe you're not a Jedi, but you are.
I'm currently wearing a not quite dress and a veil still.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Well, you got good vibes in any case.
I'm like a very tall, well-presenting Jawa at the moment.
And I think they kind of realize that they're in the situation of, okay, well, what are you doing at the illegal cult meeting? Well, you're also at the illegal cult meeting. And so it's like they kind of realize the situation of like, neither of us are really supposed to be here. So, I mean, we might as, they're picking up what you're throwing down. And it's about that time, Kincaid, that you turn the corner right behind Duo, who seems, and these 3 have lowered their blasters, and they say, the enemy of my enemy is a friend, I suppose, and begin, like, trying to weld through the door. So that is was that a 5 or a 6?
That was a 6.
Okay, so that is going to be 2 ticks on the vault. They're having a hard time with this door, Kincaid.
Step aside. All right, so I brought this for just such an occasion. We're probably going to want to go. All right, so you see how this hallway ends in a corner? Past that corner, there's some more hallway, and we're going to want to go all the way down that. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to affix it to this door, and then we're not going to have a lot of time for every security weapon in the business is here. Also, the sprinklers are going to go off. So, my friend Gleebek called this angry Play-Doh.
Shout out Gleebek.
I'm gonna take a stress. And what's my devil's bargain?
You can only either take stress or take a devil's bargain.
Oh, I see. Okay. What's my devil's bargain then?
Your devil's bargain is that you are going to take harm from the like automated turret system that is going to drop down from the wall.
I'm gonna take stress then, I think. And we got one gambit left, eh?
Yeah.
One.
Although Duo succeeded at another risky, so yeah. As long as you continue to succeed at riskies, you have essentially unlimited gambits. It's until you start failing, that's when they start going away. That's when your luck runs out, quite literally.
Everyone ready? Blow.
Yep, go for it. Blow.
Are we still flirting with the GM when you say that? What?
Are you fucking kidding me? Nope, I got a 6. Haha. Nah.
Y'all
Well done.
are amazing.
Good girl. Good girl.
I will never roll well after this session.
Well, I got 3 2s in the process of getting that 6, so.
So, you do that, and then you and the Fulcrums all run down the hallway and get behind a wall. And you hear loud booms, and the alarms start to
They
go
run down the
off.
hallway and they get down and they get around a corner and they like hunker down. And then Jack goes running past them. It's like, no. Farther still.
Amazing. As soon as the door blows, you all move into the vault. And Kincaid, you start looking around for the package that you came for. Duo, you get drawn in a different direction. You start to feel not a person, but a thing that emanates some type of force energy. And there's some kind of signature of the force. More specifically, something touched by the dark side that is in this vault. So strong, in fact, that you were able to pick up the signature of the holocron as soon as you walked in, but this seems stronger. So strong that it is pulling you almost against your will in a different direction.
That's not good.
We're here for the shiny cube, right?
You find the shiny cube.
Yes, yeah. And as you pick it up and you're putting it away, Kincaid, you turn around and you look and you see that Duo is standing in front of a long box that they open. And inside of that box is a lightsaber. One that is hundreds of years old. One that was once in possession by someone who fell to the dark. And that is where we will pick up next time.